You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, I'm going to take a look at the top 10 most important Chiefs for the 2022 NFL season. I'll rank them from 10 to 1, the most important players on this team for the Chiefs to have a successful season. So I'll ask you first, who do you think is the most important Chiefs player for 2022? Yes, you can say Patrick Mahomes. It's all good. Let me know. Most important Chiefs player for this season. All right, I'll rank it from 10 to 1 here. I'm going to start with a rookie, George Karlaftis, the edge, the first-round pick out of Purdue. I think he needs to produce, man. This defensive line is thin coming off the edge, so I think the Chiefs are banking on Karlaftis to produce as a rookie. I think you're playing a dangerous game doing that. I'm not saying you should have zero expectations for him, but looks like he's going to start and have to play a high-level role for this football team. So I got to put him in the top 10. You need to get some pressure from George Karlaftis. At number 9, Willie Gay Jr., the third-year linebacker who, with Anthony Hitchens out, should really open the floodgates for Gay and Nick Bolton to be full-time guys. I thought it was ridiculous last year that Steve Spagnuolo kept trotting Anthony Hitchens out there. Not that he shouldn't have played at all, but it was clear that Gay and Bolton were the top two guys. I think this is going to be Free Willie season. Remember that hashtag we had a couple of years ago, Free Willie? I think he's going to have his best year yet, and he needs to be good because say what you want about Anthony Hitchens, he was a signal caller for this defense. You need Willie Gay Jr. to step up and play at a high level next to Nick Bolton. At number 8, it's JuJu Smith-Schuster, the wide receiver coming over from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you could say JuJu, you could say MVS, you could say McCole Hardman. I picked JuJu, but the point of the matter is when you look at the wide receiver depth chart in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill is no longer on it. So you need somebody to emerge and play well and at least be close to a number one type of receiver. I think JuJu has a chance to do that, but so do several other of these guys. I don't really care who it is, but someone needs to emerge with the cheetah gone. I think that's safe to say. Now, I think it's going to be kind of a spread the wealth situation. It could be a different guy each week, but you got to find that production. You've got to find that production at receiver if you are Kansas City, because we know what Tyreek Hill brought to the table. We're not sure what these other receivers are going to do with more opportunities, so hopefully JuJu is a guy that can come in, stay healthy, and play at a high level. Who will be the Chiefs' best receiver this year, not including Travis Kelce, obviously? Best pure receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Predict it for us down in the comments. Number 7, L'Jarius Sneed, who was awesome as a rookie and was still good last year, but probably wasn't quite as good for Kansas City. I think with Charvarius Ward, you would like to see Sneed, or with Charvarius Ward gone, you'd like to see Sneed take another step forward. Obviously, you've got Rashad Fenton, you've got Trent McDuffie. Sneed expected to play that slot role. You need him to be locked down there, and you need him to be versatile to move around if, say, there's an injury or if McDuffie doesn't play at a level that you're comfortable with. I expect Sneed to take another step, and I think the Chiefs need him to take another step. We've seen major flashes of him being a pure number one lockdown corner. We'll see if he can do that for 17 games here in the 2022 season. If he can, that's a really good thing for this Chiefs secondary. Be sure to follow the Chiefs Report over on Rumble. The link is down below, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. We're publishing videos over there just like we are here on YouTube, so give us a follow. If you're watching on Rumble, hit the follow button. You can download the app. It is free, user-friendly. Check out our content over there, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. At number 6, and then we'll get to Frank Clark at number 5 as well, but Justin Reid is who we'll focus on here. Justin Reid, you've signed him to replace Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, that is what you have done. If you are the Kansas City Chiefs, Justin Reid needs to come in here and have a good season because you made the decision you weren't going to pay Tyrann Mathieu, but you paid Justin Reid well, so he needs to produce. I mean, he needs to play at a high level. Now, Justin Reid's been a good player in the NFL. I would expect him to play well this year. A year ago, had a couple of interceptions. He can bring the thump as well. He's a really good tackling safety also, playing next to Juan Thornhill, who is hoping to bounce back here in 2022. I like the Justin Reid signing, but you need him to play at least close to the level that Tyrann Mathieu has been over the last several seasons. Now we get to Frank Clark at number 5, the edge rusher who, quite frankly, the last 2 years has been pretty underwhelming. That's just me keeping it real. But I will say this. The Chiefs kept Clark for a reason. Now, they asked him to take a pay cut. He obliged. But with him being back, they expect him to play well. And last year, he just didn't. And quite frankly, the decline in production has been a bit alarming. That first year wasn't awesome, but pretty good. 8 sacks. Also was awesome in the playoffs. So no matter how this ends, that Super Bowl run that he was a part of will be worth the trade and the contract, because I don't think the Chiefs won the Super Bowl without his play in that game and in that run. But the numbers have dipped: 8 sacks to 6 sacks to 4.5, and that number's got to go up this year. You got to get 6, 7, 8 sacks at least out of Frank Clark. If this is a 25 tackle, 4 sack season, that's going to be bad, because this pass rush has question marks all over it. You need Frank Clark to bounce back in a major way. Will it happen though? Will Frank Clark bounce back? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I hope so. I don't have a ton of confidence, I'll be honest, but that's why I got him at number 5. He's a critical player for this team this year. At number 4, it's Travis Kelce, who, he's important every year, obviously, but you could argue even more important this year with Tyrann Mathieu gone. What he's done in the past 6 seasons is phenomenal. I mean, he pretty much leads receivers too, not just tight ends, in most of these categories. Maybe not touchdowns, but receptions and yards. 565 catches, over 7,000 yards, 47 touchdowns, average of 13 yards per catch. I expect a monster season. I mean, he's probably going to get even more targets this year now that Tyreek Hill is gone. If he is that 100-catch, 1,300-yard guy with 8 to 10 touchdowns, then that takes pressure off the receivers. That gives Mahomes that reliable weapon he's been his entire career. I think he's going to have an outstanding season for this offense, and they need him to without Tyreek Hill. Top 3 we go. Orlando Brown Jr., the left tackle, who is going to be here for a long time, and you need him to protect Patrick Mahomes. That's why you made the trade for him in the first place. Stabilizing force at left tackle, who played really, really well the second half of last season. If he carries that over and plays that way, or even better, for 17 games this year, then you're cooking with gas, because it took him some time to adjust from the Ravens' power running scheme to this more of a traditional spread offense in Kansas City. But once he got comfortable, he looked great, and I expect that to continue. You could argue he's one of, if not the most valuable player on this team this year. All right, more important to the offense, what do you think? Type TK for Travis Kelce, type OR or OB for Orlando Brown. Let me know more important for this offense, Travis Kelce or Orlando Brown. Top 2, I'm going to put Chris Jones at 2 because, again, we continue to talk about the Chiefs' defensive line having question marks. You need Chris Jones to be the stabilizer. You need him to be a really, really good player. You need Chris Jones to be that dominant presence for a unit that has question marks. I mean, it just does. There's no way around it. This front 4 it's a position of some weakness somewhat, but Chris Jones is not. He is an elite player, and he needs to be that. He needs to dominate this year. That is what I expect. 10-plus sacks, consistent pressure, hold your own in run support as well, and then, that can cover up some weaknesses on this defensive line. So hopefully Chris Jones can be that guy, can dominate, and get a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. All right, number 1, we all know this is going to be true for the next decade or however long Patrick Mahomes plays. It's Patrick Mahomes. Number 15 is number 1 on this list. It's obvious. Patrick Mahomes is always going to be the most important player on this team, just like any quarterback is for any team. If you don't get good quarterback play, it's hard to win. I expect Mahomes to continue to play at a crazy high level. His career stats are off the charts. With almost 20,000 passing yards in 4 seasons. If he has another 40-ish touchdown, 10 to 12 interception type of year, I think we're all going to be pretty thrilled with number 15. So it's obvious, Patrick Mahomes, most important player on the Chiefs this year. And if we do this video next year, he's going to be number 1 on the list again, just as a spoiler alert. All right, we asked you at the top. We'll ask you again. Who is the most important Chiefs player for 2022? If you're like, oh, it's obviously Mahomes, give me number 2 then. I think that's where the debate really starts. Is it Chris Jones? Is it Travis Kelce or Orlando Brown? Let me know, most important Chiefs player this year, and we'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report.